Chapter 9: The Signal That Wasn't There. The anomaly should not have existed. Dr. Ilarra Vant stared at the data stream scrolling across the holographic display inside the lunar array control chamber. The signal's origin point, deep space, far beyond the Kuiper belt, was geometrically precise. It repeated every 11 hours, 3 minutes, and 17 seconds. Not approximately. Exactly. Natural astrophysical phenomena do not operate with that level of precision. Run cross-spectrum analysis again, Elara said. AI node Hermes responded instantly. Analysis repeated. No stellar object, pulsar, magnetar, or known artificial satellite corresponds to the coordinates. Signal exhibits phase stability beyond natural variance thresholds. Which meant one thing. It was engineered. A pattern in the noise. The first 8 chapters of this unfolding crisis had revealed fragments, microbursts of radio interference, unexplained gravitational lensing anomalies, and unexplained quantum fluctuations near Earth's magnetosphere. Now, in Chapter 9, the pattern was undeniable. The signal wasn't random. It was layered. Beneath the primary carrier wave was a modulation signature, a binary structure embedded within phase shifts. Not Morse. Not standard binary encoding, not any terrestrial cryptographic system. Overlay prime number intervals, Elara instructed. A pause. Then Hermes projected a new visualization. The intervals between pulse clusters aligned with prime numbers up to 97. Elara's throat tightened. Prime numbers are universal markers of intelligence. No culture, no species, no biology needed. Mathematics is invariant. This wasn't a beacon. It was a handshake. Earth's political earthquake within hours, encrypted briefings reached the United Nations Security Council. The United States, China, the European Space Agency, and private aerospace conglomerates convened emergency sessions. Public disclosure was debated. Markets fluctuated before the official announcement even aired. Leaks are inevitable when data moves at light speed. When the statement finally came, it was deliberately cautious. An anomalous deep space signal has been detected. Investigations are ongoing. There is no evidence of hostile intent. The phrase "no evidence of hostile intent" was carefully chosen. There was also no evidence of friendly intent. The second layer. Back on the moon, Elara's team isolated something extraordinary. The signal's amplitude slightly increased when Earth rotated a specific hemisphere toward the origin coordinates. It wasn't just broadcasting. It was responding. How? Whispered Raj Patel, lead systems engineer. The lunar array had not transmitted anything. At least, not intentionally. Then Elara realized the unsettling truth. Earth itself radiates electromagnetic leakage, TV broadcasts, military radar, satellite chatter. For over a century, humanity has been unintentionally announcing its existence. The anomaly had detected us and adjusted. A message in geometry. By reconstructing the modulation shifts in 3-dimensional projection, the team identified a repeating geometric construct, a 19-point lattice forming a non-Euclidean polyhedron. The structure did not map cleanly onto standard 3-dimensional space. It implied curvature. Space-time curvature. This isn't just communication, Elara said slowly. It's instruction. Raj frowned. Instruction for what? Elara zoomed in on the lattice intersections. At each node, gravitational constants appeared encoded as ratios. Constants slightly different from our own. Not random differences. Predictable offsets. The signal was describing physics but not ours. The terrifying implication. If the lattice described alternate space-time curvature values, then it was effectively a blueprint. A blueprint for how to alter local gravitational fields. A blueprint for how to bend space-time. Humanity had devised warp metrics for centuries, Alcubierre drives, exotic matter fields, but they required energy densities far beyond civilization's capacity. Unless the constants themselves could be shifted. Unless the message was not merely hello. Unless it was here's how. Silence after the pulse, then, without warning, the signal stopped. No fade. No decay. Just silence. Hermes recalculated. Transmission terminated at 2:14 and 11 seconds Universal Time Coordinated. The control chamber felt colder. Raj broke the silence. Did we respond somehow? Elara stared at the last data frame frozen mid-scroll. I think we passed a threshold. Threshold? The moment we decoded the geometry, our quantum computation spikes altered our planet's EM leakage signature. We demonstrated comprehension. Raj swallowed. So they know we understand. Elara nodded. And now they're waiting. A new countdown. 6 hours later, gravitational wave detectors, LIGO, Virgo, Kagra, registered a faint but unmistakable ripple. Origin, the same coordinates as the signal, magnitude, small trajectory, inbound, not a ship. Not yet. A distortion. Something had moved, and it had moved after the silence. Chapter 9 ended not with an explosion or revelation, but with a calculation. At its current vector and inferred velocity, whatever caused the distortion would intersect the solar system in 19 years. Exactly 19. The same number of points in the lattice. The handshake was complete. The countdown had begun. Chapter 10, The 19-Year Horizon. 19 years, the number repeated everywhere now, in news broadcasts, classified reports, academic simulations. What had once been a distant abstraction was suddenly a measurable deadline. Dr. Ilarra Vant did not see 19 years. She saw 6,939 days. Time enough to prepare. Or time enough to fail. The vector. The inbound distortion was not a vessel in the conventional sense. It emitted no propulsion signature, no thermal bloom, no ion trail. It behaved like a moving curvature anomaly, a localized region where spacetime itself exhibited measurable deviation from baseline cosmological constants. LIGO data confirmed it again. The distortion was self-stabilizing. That's impossible, Raj muttered in the lunar array control chamber. It's engineered, Elara corrected. Hermes overlaid simulation models. Under standard general relativity, spacetime curvature requires mass-energy equivalence. The distortion's gravitational influence, however, did not match any detectable mass. No baryonic matter. No dark matter concentration. No black hole lensing profile. It was curvature without mass. Or mass that did not obey our physics. Phase 2, Global Response. Within weeks, the anomaly shifted from scientific curiosity to geopolitical priority. A new multinational consortium formed, the Horizon Initiative. Mandate: decode the full lattice geometry from the signal. Reproduce microscale curvature effects in controlled environments. Determine whether the inbound distortion was a probe, a gateway, or a weapon. Funding flowed without resistance for the first time in modern history. Global defense budgets partially rerouted toward pure theoretical physics. Elara was appointed scientific director. She accepted without hesitation. The first experiment 3 months after the signal's cessation, the initiative achieved something unprecedented using quantum vacuum manipulation inside a magnetically isolated chamber. The team applied the encoded gravitational constant offsets from the 19-point lattice. Energy requirements were enormous, but not impossible. For 0.000003 seconds, spacetime inside the chamber curved differently, not collapsed, not destroyed, altered. Instrumentation recorded a measurable deviation in local Planck scale metrics. Raj stared at the readouts. We changed the value of G locally. Elara shook her head. No, we changed how spacetime interprets G. The difference was subtle and terrifying. A message hidden in the math. Further analysis revealed a secondary pattern embedded within the lattice ratios when plotted as tensor transformations rather than scalar values. The geometry described a topological bridge condition. A stable throat between two spacetime regions, not wormhole theory as humans had conceived it, something more elegant, more efficient. The message was no longer ambiguous. The signal had not warned humanity, it had taught it. The divide. Public knowledge fractured civilization into ideological camps. The ascendants believed the anomaly was an invitation, proof that humanity had been noticed and deemed worthy of contact. The preservationists believed it was bait, an advanced civilization offering technology to destabilize or test emerging species. Markets reflected the uncertainty. Religious movements surged. Space agencies accelerated missions to Mars and the outer planets, contingency plans for species survival. But the distortion continued inbound, silent and steady. No further signals, no negotiation. A subtle acceleration. Year 2 of the countdown brought a disturbing update. The distortion was accelerating, not dramatically, but measurably. Initial arrival estimate, 19 years. Revised estimate, 17.8 years. The curvature anomaly was interacting with solar gravitational gradients, absorbing energy. Raj's voice was tight during the briefing. It's adapting to our star. Elara finished the thought, which means it will adapt to us. The human variable. Despite the fear, progress accelerated. Microcurvature fields became stable for milliseconds, then seconds. A prototype device, nicknamed Lattice Core 01, successfully created a contained region where light bent at non-natural angles inside the field. Time dilation differed by 0.0004%, barely measurable but real. Humanity had replicated alien physics within 2 years, and that realization shifted the psychological balance. We were no longer waiting passively, we were preparing. The unexpected discovery. During a deep scan of the distortion's energy signature, Hermes detected a modulation previously missed. It wasn't external. It was internal. The distortion contained oscillations matching the prime number sequence from the original signal. The inbound anomaly wasn't just following the handshake pattern. It was composed of it. Elara felt the weight of the implication. The signal wasn't separate from the object, she said quietly. It was the object. Raj stared at her. You mean, the transmission was the construction phase? Silence filled the chamber. The signal had not traveled ahead of the anomaly, it had assembled it. Across interstellar space using spacetime itself as raw material. The realization if the lattice equations described how to bend spacetime. And the inbound anomaly was structured according to those equations. Then it wasn't a ship traveling through space. It was space reorganizing itself into something. Something structured, something deliberate, something that would arrive not by crossing distance, but by becoming present. The horizon shifts. 5 years into the countdown, telescopes detected a faint optical shimmer along the anomaly's vector, not light reflecting, light refracting through geometry that did not belong in this universe. Arrival estimate, 14.2 years. But Elara no longer trusted the timeline. The anomaly did not travel like matter, it propagated like information, and information can accelerate. If space-time can be instructed, then distance is obsolete. Humanity had believed 19 years was a buffer. It was not a buffer, it was a curriculum, and the final exam was approaching.
Write your questions in the comments. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications for upcoming episodes of the documentary series. New documentaries are released every Wednesday and Friday on this channel.